Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is April 23rd, 2023, and we are getting into the volume 71 of me answering your immigration related questions. As you can see, I have all of the comments pulled up in front of me. As always, I'm going to mention I'm not an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice. All the information that I provide in these videos on this channel are directly from official government sources, like of course USCIS and of course the Department of State with their visa bulletin. Also, I wanted to apologize to some of you. I am starting to get more and more questions, and it takes me longer to get to some of the comments that have been posted. So I apologize if I'm taking too long to answer. If it is an urgent matter, I would recommend asking it again on more recent videos, so it appears at the top. But I'm very sorry about that. I will try to figure out the way to address them faster. All right, let's start with the very first one from Lachmi Narayan. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. This is 2 years since NVC sent the welcome letter and the case and open as yet to make the payment and to send the documents. Okay, so that was the why is my I-130 case taking so long? So if you already have the full access to the NVC portal, don't wait. Go ahead, pay all the fees, submit all the documents. If you have access to the full access to the NVC portal, do everything as soon as possible. Don't wait closer to the availability of immigrant visas or anything like that. If you don't have the full access to the NVC portal, check out the visa bulletin. If you still have about a year, 2 years waiting for the availability of the immigrant visas, then don't worry, it's fine. But if you are within the time frame, I would say less than a year. If anybody who's watching this video, if you are less than a year to the availability of the immigrant visas, judging by the visa bulletin, by what we have right now, and again, if you're not familiar with visa bulletin, I have the videos on this channel. Check them out so you can understand how it works. Definitely submit the public inquiry form or expedited request, whichever you prefer. I would recommend starting with a public inquiry form on the Department of State website. And again, I have the videos on how to do that. You can find this on this channel. But a lot of people are waiting at the moment for their interviews. So there's people who are documentarily qualified, people who are not documentarily qualified, and they're waiting. Hopefully the process will start moving along soon, since we're starting to clear out all the backlog from the pandemic closures. All right, let's move on to the next question from Mark Tungol. Mark, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed, and thank you for another question. I-131 travel permit include petitioning a spouse doing form I-130. Sir, do I also need that for my wife once it gets approved? Okay, Mark, if I'm understanding correctly, and if I remember your previous questions correctly, you have the I-130 petition already going, right? So if that's the case, and if not, please correct me if I'm wrong. Just let me know in a follow-up comment if you can. I would really appreciate it. But if you have the I-130 already going, right, you don't need to worry about the I-131 travel permit at all, basically, because once your wife gets the I-130, through the I-130 gets that I-551, which is that immigrant visa that we are all waiting for, who has that I-130 petition going, that's it. She can travel without any problems. She doesn't need a travel permit. But again, if I misunderstood your question, please let me know in a follow-up comment, and I will definitely address it in the next video. Sorry if I misunderstood, by the way. Let's move on to the next one from Ukane. Hello, if it's typographical error, where to send the incorrect card if I file I-90 online? Okay, so if I understand your question correctly, you got your permanent residence card and there is a typographical error within that card itself. So if you're filing an I-90 in order to get a corrected permanent resident card, you don't need to worry about sending the physical card anywhere unless USCIS specifically requests it later. But all you need to do if you're filing it online, which I would recommend doing anyway, it's much faster process, much better. Just scan, make a good scan of the actual card with the typographical error and upload it online. And once you're done with the application, you will have the next stage of the application will be uploading all the supporting documents. One of them is going to be the incorrect, well, not incorrect, but the actual physical card with that typographic error. And then once you're done with that, you'll be able to pay. But in your case, you actually don't have to pay because it is their mistake. They made a mistake, so this one should be free for you. All right, let's move on to the next one from Selome Bekele. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. My petition was submitted on January 2021. When do you think my priority date? Please let me know. Okay, Salome, so I'm gonna help you a little bit with the understanding. So your priority date is in January 21. All right, priority date is when USCIS have received your petition. So the notice of receipt showing whatever date, January 2021, that is your priority date. Using that priority date, you can go to the visa bulletin and you can find the link, this link right here. This is the official government website from the Department of State for their Bureau of Consular Affairs. And this is their visa bulletin, which shows somewhat updated. Some of them are, more updated than the others. So, don't rely 100% on it. This is more of a rough estimate. But still, if you look at the graph B, this is the dates of filing, which are the priority dates. Dates of filing, priority date is the same thing, and you can find them here, depending on which category you're in and which chargeability area. But if you want, you can submit a follow-up comment. Let me know your category and also the chargeability area, and I might be able to give you a little bit more information with some rough estimates. All right, let's move on to the next one from Corazon Gray. I'm assuming how long will wait F3 year 2003. All right, Corazon, let's take a look at the visa bulletin. We got F3 and we got 2003. So I am assuming you are not in all chargeability, because if you were in all chargeability, it's already past due 7 years and it makes absolutely no sense. So I am assuming you are either Philippines or Mexico. All right, your chargeability area for the F3. Now, if we look at the Philippines, they are actually on November 2003 right now. So if whether you are beneficiary or whether you're the petitioner and for your beneficiary, if the beneficiary is in Philippines, then it should be anywhere right around the corner. I'm assuming you should already have the access to the NVC portal. It was already approved by USCIS, so far so forth. If it is Mexico, however, then you still got about 2 more years to. It's a rough estimate, but this is what we have right now from May visa bulletin. Again, with the releases of the next visa bulletins, we will get more updated information, because we have seen in the previous months, in April visa bulletin release and the May visa bulletin this month, which we're not in May yet, but the visa bulletin is already released. We have seen finally some movement. That's why I keep saying that in the next couple months, we will see more of that movement. The numbers should be settling down. They shouldn't be so, way too outdated, basically, because, as most of you know, if you have a petition, I-130 petition, and if you had it, for the past few years at least, and you're familiar with Visa Bulletin, you know that Visa Bulletin haven't been moving for about 2 years, and we now see some movement. But this is it. Again, Corazon, if you want to ask me a follow-up comment, let me know which chargeability area you're from, but I'm thinking either Mexico or Philippines, because that's kind of goes along with your priority date. All right, let's move on to the next one from Jasbir Kaur. Hello, sir. My husband applied for me I-730. It's how long process? All right, Jasbir. So I will use this as an opportunity to show you how to find that information on official U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services website, uscis.gov. Whenever you are getting your information, make sure it is from official government sources. I am not an official government source, but I try to, all of the stuff that I provide, I try to give you the links to actual government sources where you can do your own research and verify what I gave you, the information that I gave you. So this is the front page of uscis.gov. We're gonna go to tools here at the very end of the navigation menu at the top. We're gonna click on that, and then we're gonna scroll down and we're gonna click case status online. So you have received when when your husband applied, when he submitted that I-730, he have received notice of receipt saying that, hey, we have received your I-730 application, so far so forth. On that receipt, there's got to be a receipt number. You can put it here and it will give you at which stage the case is, and it's a very helpful tool to determine where, what's happening with the case. But if you scroll all the way down, you will see there is a USCIS processing times information. So we're going to click on this. We're going to click on the visit page. And here in the drop down, we're going to select obviously form I-730. We'll scroll down to it. Here it is, refugee asylee relative petition. And then you're going to have to select the category. There's only one, petition for accompanying family member of an asylee. And then you have a couple of options for the service center. We're going to take a look at both. So if the application went to Nebraska Service Center, and again, depending on where, which state your husband lives in, from which state he applied this petition, it goes to, that what determines which service center it goes to. So let's check for Nebraska Service Center, 13 months, so just over a year. And let's take a look at Texas Service Center. So this one's a little bit longer, 22 months, 22 and a half months. So just under 2 years. So depending on which service center it went to, depending on when he filed it, that's kind of to give you a rough estimate of what you should be expecting. Now, if you are waiting and let's say it went to Nebraska Service Center and you have been waiting now for 15 months and still nothing is happening, then you can submit a case inquiry, inquire about the case outside normal processing time. All right, so hopefully this was helpful. Let me know if you have any other questions. I'll be happy to address them. We're gonna move on to the next question from Leah. Hello, if the beneficiary is widowed, is the death certificate of spouse enough for the proof of dissolution of marriage? Or do they require some affidavit or court order in case of I-130? I'm really sorry for keep asking those petty questions. The official website is so vague on this particular subject. I'm at loss. Leah, you don't have to be sorry at all for asking questions. And also, they're not petty questions at all. As many questions as you have, and it goes for everyone who's watching this channel, as many questions as you have, you can go ahead and ask them. I will never be, too many questions from someone or anything like this, because it is because of your questions I'm able to make these videos. And somebody finds this video helpful, that's really it. To me, that's a blessing. I was able to share some information, whether it is from official government source or if it's just something from my personal experience as an immigrant and it's helpful, that's really it. But Leah, to answer your question, yes, death certificate definitely is, it should be sufficient. It's really not, what I'm saying is not really 100% like a fact, because you really, it's always hard to tell with USCIS, with NVC. In some cases they might look at it. It really depends, I think, on the immigration officer that is reviewing it. At their discretion, they look at it and they're like, okay, so yeah, that certificate obviously is there. So obviously, we don't. That's it. This is, makes it clear. But again, sometimes I see cases where it's like, the information that is in front of them is obvious, and yet they keep asking for more. So don't be surprised if they ask for something else. It should be sufficient, and I would submit that and not worry about it. But don't be surprised if they do ask you for something else, just because it's really at their discretion, and they decide what is enough for them, or not enough. And it's kind of unfortunate. I wish it was a little bit better, because you submit something, and just the last volume I was answering questions, and there was this comment from a guy who filed an application for his son, and his son is young. I think it was 14 or something like that, and USCIS rejected the application because that the father of the child whose the application is being submitted, he did not sign at the bottom of the application that he's the preparer of the application. And I mean, it's common sense, if you're an immigration officer, it's like, question to this immigration officer, right? Are you serious? Like, do you really think that, a child, a 14-year-old child will just sit and fill it out by themselves. Or even more so, they will go to some random stranger and the random stranger will fill out the application for a random child. Of course it is the parent filling out the application for a child. It's common sense. Why are you wasting your own time of the immigration officer wasting her own time, when they do stuff like this? They waste time of everybody at the USCIS. They waste time, or they waste taxpayers' money, all right, and they waste the time of the applicants. We deal with that stuff for absolutely no reason. But I'm getting off topic, but trying to make the point that whenever it comes to USCIS, sometimes you deal with this crazy, outrageous stuff. Just kind of be prepared for it, and don't be surprised if that happens, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to the next one from Bhagwati Sahedeo. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. Hello, sir. Good night. When can I expect my welcome letter? My priority date, November 2015. Can you please help me? And then the second one, I hope F1 category, priority date, November 21, will be soon or next. Okay, so Bhagwati, again, sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, I probably am. F1 category, so it's the unmarried sons and daughters of US citizens who are over 21. And you say it's November 2015, so let's take a look at the visa bulletin. So it's 2015. So looks like all chargeability area, China, India, looks like 2 years behind. So you should already have, you should be already documentarily qualified. You should already, just be waiting basically for an interview. Unless we're talking about Mexico or Philippines. If we're talking about Philippines, then you should be getting current really anytime now, because they are on April 2015 now, and you're November 2015, so you're only a few months away. But if you're Mexico, obviously there is a much longer wait, unfortunately, which it's really sad that people, families that are trying to do it legally, bring their kids legally into the United States, they have to wait so ridiculously long. It's really sad. But let me know your chargeability area. This will give me a little bit more insight, and I might be able to give you just a little bit more information, just a little bit better. Still rough estimates, but a little bit better. And also, let me know if you were already documentarily qualified or not. Because, like I said, if you are in all chargeability area, you definitely should already be, at least have a full access to the NVC portal, and your petition on the USCIS part, it should already be reviewed, all right, and hopefully approved. So if you can, please let me know in a follow-up comment, and I might be able to give you a little bit better information. Let me post this same stuff here, and then we're gonna move on to the next question from Elizabeth Jagdane. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing. Hi, sir. You're a great help for your time and effort to make it simpler for immigrants. This is Paul Jadhain. Paul, thank you for your kind words. I'm glad this is helpful. Let's move on to the next one from Never Give Up. Never Give Up. Got a couple of comments. Let's read them. Sir, thank you for your interest and response. There is a way to go to America, and it is called the Welcome Corps. Okay, you can search for it, and it will start in the middle of the year. But in order to go to America, you must be sponsored by 5 people. Please, sir, I have no one in America, and I have spoken with many Arabs, but everyone bans me and does not want to help me. Wow. I'm from Egypt, from a persecuted city called Rafah. I cannot offer asylum in the country that was affected by it, and if I go to another country to apply for asylum, I will lose my money because the matter requires time. Please, can you help me and sponsor me, please? Our homes, lands, and farms have been demolished, and our economic situation is very bad. I'm the eldest of my brothers, and I feel responsible for that. I'm 24 years old, and my family consists of 8 people, and I want to go first in order to bring them afterwards. Sir, I'm not in danger, but we have been completely wronged. Can you imagine that a city like Texas will be demolished, and you will not be compensated, and you will not find work because of your place of residence? We have been subjected to persecution. Unfortunately, the American government does not know anything about us. Sir, you advised me to get out of this country. I'm trying to save my money, and I do not want to lose it, for example, in another country, because America also needs enough money so that I can live in the beginning. Please, sir, sponsor me. People spoke to me and asked me for $20,000 money to sponsor me, but on the official website they say do not give money to anyone because the goal of the program is to integrate the American people with immigrants. Okay, never give up. So I have a message for you, and I don't want you to misunderstand it. I do know exactly how it feels to be persecuted personally, okay? Not just, as a community, personally. And I know what it feels like to give up everything, the money, the property, the career, all of these materialistic things. Here's the question for you. Do you care more about the well-being of your family, the well-being of yourself? Obviously, God is calling you, because that's why you are here on this channel. That's why you are giving me this information. That's why you're sharing this information. God is calling you to do something, all right? Are you going to wait and sit and hold on to whatever money you have, whatever it is that is holding you back there, instead of actually, taking a step and actually doing something? Because I can say these things to you because I have been there myself, all right? And I came here with absolutely nothing to the United States. I didn't have any money. I didn't have any social support. I didn't have nothing, absolutely nothing. So it's really hard to start from scratch. It's true. And it is quite scary. It is true. But again, if your faith is strong enough, if you are truly called, then you need to trust your faith and not be caught up in this materialistic aspect of things. And I know for some people who are watching this, hearing this, it's probably hard to picture me being homeless, being something, and but I've been there. I've been there, and I went through it, and I am grateful for it. It was truly a blessing, because that experience, it didn't just allow me to understand a lot of things that I understand today, see a lot of things that I see today, but it also allows me to see through people's intentions, people's motivations, and also the things that are holding people back, okay? Because when you go through experience like this, and you do give up everything you have and just follow your faith, and just whatever happens, you stay true to that faith. First of all, God will not he will not forsake you, because he has faith in you, all right? He just wants you to have faith in him. So never give up. Like I told you again, you have a good name, never give up. And I'm sure you have your good name, your actual name, and you have good intentions too, because you're doing it for good reasons. So don't let anything stop you. If you have a way to come here, don't rely on other people. Don't rely on money. Don't rely on some kind of programs. Don't even rely on this country as a country itself to save you, right? Because we're gonna come across problems. We're gonna come across difficult situations anywhere. All right, they do not end by simply immigrating from one country to another, and that's one mistake that a lot of people make when they come here. They think that, I'm leaving my poor country and I'm coming here to rich country, right? And then they come here and then they get involved. They start obviously making more money. They start acquiring more things, and they slowly they become corrupted. They lose the meaning. They get away from the plan that God had for them. So don't let that get you stray you away from where God is calling you. And if you have any more comments, if you do want to have a conversation about this, you're more than welcome, always, on this channel and really everywhere else. All right. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Sainikil Yarlagada. Hi, I applied for I-539 for myself and USCIS rejected me for not signing the application. Signing Kill, I was just telling Leah, I think, about your situation and how ridiculous USCIS treated you, how unfairly they treated you. I rechecked all the forms and identified the missed signature. Okay, good. My question is, USCIS in the return of my application also sent me the bank check with the Department of Homeland Security stamp. Is that check valid, or do I need to submit a new check with the application? Okay, Sanikil. So on that stamp, read the stamp itself. If it's literally just a stamp that says U.S. Department of Homeland Security and that's it, then it is good. You can send that check back, and it means, basically what it means is that they opened it up. Of course, the first thing they did, they stamped the check, because that's what they care about, right? They care about taking money. That's why that's the first thing they did before even looking at the application. All right, and then they looked at the application and they found some ridiculous whatever to pick on you, and then they sent it back. But sometimes in that stamp there is also it says void. If it says void, then you would have to send a new check. Honestly, if you're still kind of iffy about it, if it bothers you, just leave that check to yourself. Just make sure that, check your bank account, make sure that they didn't take the money out yet, that money. And if they didn't, just send them a new check, and that's it. If that bothers you. But again, Sanikil, I'm sorry you're dealing with this, because this is it just shows you the bureaucratic nature of USCIS, unfortunately. All right, let's move on to the next question from Simone Williams. Simone Williams is received one of the highest numbers of hearts, so it's just the questions, the comments from Simone. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. And Simone says, hey, I appreciate that answer about the young lady and her kids. I was wondering the same thing, because at the time my father filed, my sons were under 21 years. But now they passed the age, and my priority date is also 2017. So I got my answer out of her question. Simone, I'm glad this was helpful. So I kind of wanted to add something to this, because there is actually a talk within Homeland Security, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration, USCIS. There is a talk basically to get rid of that rule, aging out rule, right? And I fully support it. I think it is stupid and unfair completely. Why? Because it is not people's problem that, their kids grow, okay? Because the kids grow. That's it's normal, all right? We all grow. We all get older each year. It makes sense. So if you have filed when your child was, 17, 18, just because it takes forever by USCIS or by the Department of State to process the application, to go through this bureaucratic process, it does not mean that the family should be affected by it. If USCIS didn't have enough time to get to the application, and the child turned over 21 while these guys were waiting, and I don't know, whatever they were doing, it's not the fault of the family, okay? It's nobody's fault. It's natural to grow, and if they take forever to process the applications, it is on them. So the conversation that they're having now is to completely get rid of it. So basically, if your application have been submitted before child turned 21, that's it. It doesn't matter if they turn 30 by the time the application is processed. They will still be basically processed as someone, because their application was filed before 21. I think this is definitely the right direction. That would be really nice. I don't know, unfortunately, how realistic that will be, if it will be implemented, because it's whenever it comes to matters like this, USCIS and the Department of State, we also have to think about the previous applications, because there's a lot of applications that have already are dealing with something like this, right? So if they pass this with this regulation and it becomes active, it means that they have to treat all of these applications that have been already submitted, processed through USCIS, processed through the NVC, treat them differently. And you see how it kind of most likely will create a lot of problems for USCIS, a lot of problems for NVC, and it makes sense. But it's still the right thing to do, and I really hope that they implement that, because this is just, I think this is the right thing to do. This is the right way to do it. So thank you everyone for your questions. Again, I'm gonna say that I appreciate all of your comments. I appreciate all of your questions. As many questions, as many comments as you have, they are welcome on this channel. If you found this video helpful, useful, that's it. That's all. That's really all I care about, okay? And that's really it. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.